In this video, I'm giving you 12 B2B lead generation strategies to generate more high-quality leads and book more appointments, regardless of what you sell or what industry you're in. Most B2B companies are leaving millions on the table by using outdated strategies and completely manual processes, just hoping volume will somehow make up for the lack of strategy. But buyers are smarter than ever. And if you're on LinkedIn, you know what I mean. Your inbox is full of unpersonalized spam, and it really seems that the old playbooks are dead. So today I'm showing you the 12 strategies that are actually working right now to fill your pipeline with qualified leads safely, efficiently, and at scale. But before we get into that, we need to talk about why it's so important to use these strategies and why you can't just leave all your eggs in one basket anymore. B2B lead generation has never been harder than it is right now. Buyers are much more savvy now. They're doing their research and have seen every outreach angle, template, or quick question message in the book. And at this point, most of them are numb to it. Everywhere they look, whether it's email, LinkedIn ads, or DMs, they're getting hit with the same low-effort, templatized outreach. And with how easy AI tools have made it to spin up a campaign, it feels like everyone is sending the exact same message. Even if you're sending quality, personalized messages, it's hard to stand out in a busy inbox. The companies that are winning right now, though, they're using a completely different approach. One built on personalization, targeting, optimization, multi-channel touchpoints, and automation that's actually safe. That's exactly what I'm going to give you in this video. A smarter, modern, reputation-safe system for generating leads at scale. By the time we get into these 12 strategies, you're going to see exactly why your old playbook stopped working and why this new one is what will carry you into 2026 and beyond. Let's talk about the social listening play. Most people think LinkedIn is just a place to post content or do outreach. But one of the most underrated lead generation tactics has to do with listening instead of talking. Social listening is simply monitoring the conversations that are already happening in your market. Things like keywords, pain points, or phrases that signal someone is looking for help. This is where all the real-time opportunities pop up. So if someone posts, "Does anyone know a good tool for XYZ?" Or, "We're really struggling with outreach deliverability. Has anyone solved this before?" These are things that matter in our market. And to us, that's not a cold lead. That's a hand-raised signal. And when you jump into that conversation with something genuinely helpful, you immediately position yourself as someone who gets it. Then you can share insights, a framework, a case study, or even send them a custom Loom video walking through how you solve a problem. This turns LinkedIn into a live stream of opportunities rather than a place you just shout into the void. So instead of thinking, "I need to send more messages," start thinking, "Where are people already telling me what they need?" Then, when you show up, starting the conversation feels natural. To find these opportunities, you can search LinkedIn for keywords your buyers use, like recommended, tool for help with, or struggling with, and insert your keywords there. You can also track industry hashtags, keep an eye on your competitors' posts, and connect with people who are already active in your space on LinkedIn. Strategy 2, intent-based outreach. Many outreach campaigns fail not because the message is bad, but because the timing is bad. Intent-based outreach flips that. Instead of blasting a list and hoping someone happens to be in market, you're looking for buying signals, little indicators that someone might be ready for a conversation. Someone just got promoted into a decision-making role. Their company announced new funding. They're hiring for a role your product helps replace. They're engaged with a competitor's post. They've downloaded something from your site. These are all moments where interest is already bubbling under the surface. And if you reach out right then, your message suddenly feels relevant instead of random. Instead of going after volume, your priority should be who's showing signs they might be in market right now. Strategy 3, building a content repurposing engine. This ties directly to the previous tactic. Content doesn't have to feel like this endless treadmill where you're constantly coming up with new ideas. The people who win on LinkedIn are the ones who are creating smarter content. That's where the pillar and post model comes in. Instead of thinking, I have to post something today, you focus on creating one big valuable piece of content, aka your pillar. Now that could be a webinar, a deep dive blog post, a podcast episode you did, a YouTube video you produced, a keynote or talk you already gave. And then you break these down into smaller, high impact content pieces. For example, a 30-minute webinar could turn into 10 short clips for LinkedIn, 5 quote graphics, a carousel, a newsletter issue, 3 emailable tips, and even scripts for future videos like these. This way, one piece can become an entire month's worth of lead generating content. Stop thinking about fresh new content every day. Instead, your goal is to build a system that feeds your channels automatically. Strategy 4, leveraging private communities. One of the biggest missed opportunities in B2B right now is private communities. Your ideal customers are already hanging out in niche Slack groups, Reddit subreddits, Facebook groups, and other communities. And most people never tap fully into these because they think only in terms of outbound or content. In reality, communities are where the warmest conversations happen. The play here is simple. You don't join these communities to pitch. You join to help. That means reading the rules, answering questions users might have, sharing insights or case studies, pointing people in the right direction without expecting anything in return. The last part is most important because you don't want to come off as salesy or lose trust in the community, of course. So when you do this consistently, something funny happens. People start tagging you. They DM you. They say, hey, I keep seeing your name come up in here. Can we talk about your topic? I've experienced this myself. This is one of the highest trust, highest ROI long-term strategies you can run, especially in niche communities where relationships matter as much as the tactics being discussed. If you show up that way, the pipeline and the relationships will follow. Strategy 5, the lead magnet funnel. If you're posting content but not generating leads, it's probably missing structure behind it. That's where a lead magnet funnel comes in. This is one of the simplest, cleanest ways to turn attention into contactable, interested leads. Here's how the funnel works. Step 1, offer value up front. In your content, you should tease or mention a resource that goes deeper. Something like, and if you want the exact full template we used in this case study, comment X and I'll DM it to you. Step 2, drive them to a simple landing page. This doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a simple overview of what the offer is, why it's useful, and a form to drop your email to get it. Step 3, nurture automatically. Once they opt in, you send a short email sequence that adds more value, builds trust, gives context for who you help, and ends with a CTA to book a call. This is the engine that takes someone from a random viewer to a warm lead. And if you run a sales team or agency, this is how you systematize lead flow instead of relying on luck or virality. You just need a clearer path to take them from value to email to nurture to a meeting. Strategy 6, strategic partnerships and co-marketing. This is my jam. Strategic partnerships are a massive unlock for B2B teams, especially if you sell into a niche market. And the key is simple. Find non-competing companies who serve the same or adjacent customer profile as you. For example, if you help B2B SaaS teams with demand gen, you could partner with a sales enablement platform or a RevOps consultant. When you partner with them, suddenly you're tapping into an audience that already trusts them. By association, they start trusting you. This partnership can be co-hosting a webinar, recording a podcast together, creating a shared playbook, doing a newsletter swap, or even simple lead share agreements when each other has a referral to send. This leads to a magical endorsement effect. When someone your audience already believes says, hey, you should check this out, your credibility goes through the roof before you've even opened your mouth. For agencies especially, this is one of the most scalable growth levers you can run. Strategy 7, scraping LinkedIn events and groups. If you want one of the fastest ways to build a hyper-targeted lead list today, it's this. LinkedIn events and groups are an absolute goldmine because the people inside have already raised their hand. They've shown interest in a topic, industry, or problem that likely you solve, you're involved in, which means they're already 10x warmer than those who show up in a random search filter. So here's the play. Step 1, find a relevant LinkedIn event or group in your industry. Look for events your ideal customers might attend or already attending. For example, the SaaS Growth Summit, B2B Marketing Leadership Forum, the B2B Marketing Roundtable, and so on. Step 2 is use tools like Expandy to scrape together those attendees of those events. Inside Expandy, you drop the event or LinkedIn group URL and boom, you instantly get a clean list of attendees and members. This way, you instantly get a list of pre-qualified people who care about the exact topic you help with. Step 3, reach out with a hyper-relevant angle. Something like, hey, first name, I saw you were attending the SaaS growth webinar. Curious what you're hoping to learn from it. This way your outreach is contextual, not cold. Strategy 8, account-based marketing, ABM 2.0. When you're going after high-ticket B2B deals, you need precision. And this is where ABM 2.0 shines. In this tactic, you identify your Dream 100, a small group of accounts that would materially change your business if you won them. Then you treat each one like a market of one. Here's what that could look like in practice. First, you research the account deeply. Then you map out all the key stakeholders, not just one point of contact. You show up in their world across multiple channels and touch points like personalized emails, leaving comments on their content, sending valuable resources, and being strategic with your follow-up messages and meetings. Because big accounts require more trust, nuance, and more touch points, you're playing the long game here. Instead of sending one generic outreach LinkedIn DM with hundreds of follow-ups on that, you orchestrate a series of moments that make you impossible to ignore and even harder to forget. For agencies, Consultants and anyone selling a high-ticket offer, this is how you turn a handful of companies into your biggest wins of the year. Strategy 9, the referral and affiliate engine. This is where you reward your current customers for sending you someone they think is a great fit. When someone's had a great experience with you, they're naturally inclined to talk about it. Your job is to make it easy for them to do this and give them a little nudge. 2 simple plays here. This can be something as simple as a discount on their next invoice, a free month of your service, or a simple cash bonus. The key, though, is to make this super simple and consistent. Whenever you refer someone who becomes a customer, you get X. Warm intros like these convert incredibly well because there's already trust built in. This is how you extend referrals beyond your customer base. Influencers, consultants, community hosts, anyone that serves a similar audience. They can partner with you as an affiliate and earn a commission for every customer they send your way. They get rewarded, you get warm leads, your joint customer gets satisfaction, everyone wins. And unlike paid ads, you're only paying when the revenue comes in. Strategy 10, targeted ads on Meta and LinkedIn. Paid ads can be one of the most precise lead gen channels if you use them the right way. LinkedIn is just unbeatable when you need to reach specific job titles or industries or companies of a certain size or a certain seniority level. If you know exactly who your buyer is, LinkedIn lets you put the right message in front of them. The trade-off, however, is this can be more expensive, which means your ad creative has to speak directly to a specific pain point to earn the click. Meta is a different game. The algorithm is insanely good at finding your people for you. The CPMs are a fraction of LinkedIn's as well. Even if you're in B2B, executives, founders, and decision makers are also on Instagram and Facebook. If your creative calls out the exact problem you solve, Meta becomes a cost-effective way to reach buyers who may never click on a LinkedIn ad. And when you combine ads with your content and personal brand, they become a complete force multiplier. People see your ads, see your posts. By the time they visit your landing page, the trust is already there. Strategy 11, SEO for high intent keywords. Keywords like marketing, sales automation, and LinkedIn are going to be hyper competitive. Instead, go after high intent, low competitive long tail keywords like LinkedIn automation for agencies, cold outreach sequence template, and how to scrape event attendees on LinkedIn. These types of searches might only have a few hundred searches per month, but for people searching for them, they're actively looking for a solution. So look for keywords related to what you sell. Then create blog posts, guides, landing pages that answer that exact query. As a rule of thumb, try to create something that's better than what's currently ranking or getting recommended on AI engines. And keep in mind, SEO or AEO, it's a long-term strategy. It's not going to flood your pipeline tomorrow. But once these pages start ranking and getting found, they can become lead catchers that work while you sleep. LinkedIn outreach automation. Last but not least, this is the final strategy that ties everything together. At the end of the day, LinkedIn is still the single best database for finding B2B buyers. The problem, though, is that many people stick to the old way of doing automated outreach to those buyers, which is slow, doesn't scale, and if you do it wrong, you get your account suspended, especially if you're using browser extensions. The play in 2026 is still automation, but automation done the right way. Expandy runs your campaigns 24/7 in the cloud, even when your computer is off. It automatically mimics natural patterns, uses delays, daily limits, and warm-up settings so your account stays under the radar. This way you can scale your outreach without triggering LinkedIn's thoughtful alarms. Where things level up, though, is with Expandy's multi-channel integration. So for example, if you send a LinkedIn connection request, you can set up an email follow-up to go out a day later if they haven't responded. This is what separates modern outreach from the old spray and pray method. Put simply, Expandy gives you 3 things at once: scale, safety, and outreach that feels human. Stack this with intent, content, events, and partnerships, and LinkedIn automation becomes the engine that makes all 12 strategies actually scale in 2026. If LinkedIn is one of your main lead gen channels and you want to learn how to get more replies from your outreach, click here to check out the next video where we break down exactly what to do if your messages aren't landing. We'll see you over there.